Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Monday, December 31st, 2018. And it's 3:38 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. And it's New Year's Eve. So we're going to do a combo report today. And I'm going to show Arctic sea ice. I'm going to show Antarctic sea ice. I'm going to show Arctic methane, and one little thing over on NASA Worldview, and then we'll get into the comments that were left under my video from yesterday, which were excellent, by the way, and then we'll do the earthquake report. So this is going to be a longer report, but I thought I would do this since it is the end of the year and I haven't really done a climate cast update in almost a month, so I'm due for that, but this is going to kind of take the place of that maybe. So what we have up here, I created this GIF for you from NASA Worldview. This is the Arctic sea ice, and it's not sea ice, it's snow concentration, it's the sea ice. And it's for December 1st through the 29th. It takes them a couple of days to process it for the sea ice. So the latest that they have is through the 29th. And so here it started over on December the 1st. And so watch up here and you can see the ice as it was going through day by day. This area to the north of Novaya Zemlya is struggling. It comes back a little and then it decreases, comes back and decreases. And then to the south of it here, this whole Barents Sea is having problems with any ice coming back because it's so warm up there, because there's a lot of warm water coming in from the Atlantic, and we've had quite a few earthquakes up here on this ridge, and well, not right up here but further south. You can't see it here, but Iceland has had some earthquakes, and so there also the temperatures. What I'm going to show you, I've been saving the 2-meter temperature anomaly maps for Climate Reanalyzer for this month, and I'm going to show you those too, and you're going to see that this area moves around in the Arctic, where it's like red up here, where it's a lot warmer than it normally is, and then it moves around, and then it comes across, and then it comes down here and comes across Greenland and moves all around this area. And so that's why the ice is just not coming back very well. And if you read all the reports that are coming out, the ice levels for the Arctic and the Antarctic are way down, and so we know that if we make it till this summer, and I'm not convinced we are, but if whoever is left here when this summer rolls around, it's going to be awful. The temperatures are going to be off the charts, literally off the charts. So there's that I had for you, and let me see what I want to show you next. While we're here, I'll show, well, no, that's not what I wanted to show you. Hang on. No, go the other way. This is from the Navy military website. This is the sea ice thickness in the Arctic for today, 12/31/18, and the data is from yesterday, the 30th, and you can see that it's just not there on the eastern side of the Arctic Sea. And then it is getting a little thicker going into the blue, but it's mainly purples, and so it's not very thick. It is coming back a little bit up here north of Greenland, going into the 2-meter thickness, and then there's just a little tiny bit of yellow and red right down here. And so there's that from today. Here's the Navy GIF for the 30-day period, which was 3 weeks ago, and then it goes forecast 7 days in advance. And so that's their 30-day GIF there. So it's just struggling. It's having a real hard time. And now I'll show you the Antarctic. And here's, okay, so this is the Antarctic as of today, the sea ice, and they expect it to, it normally does pretty much melt all the way around the continent during their summertime. They're in their summertime right now. The sun is still up. It was at its highest on the winter solstice, December 21st, and so now the sun is starting to go back down towards the horizon, but it's still sunlight 24 hours a day down there. And so we can see areas where the ice is melted completely up to the coastline. Down here in the Ross Sea, the ice shelf is there, and up here on the northern part coming into the Weddell Sea, it's quite thin, and then up here on the eastern side. And here's the Navy GIF for the 30-day, so it's back 3 weeks, so we can see how it's decreased in the last 3 weeks and how they're expecting it to continue to decrease in the next 7 days. So there's that. But according to the papers I've read and the articles I've read, the climate scientists are very alarmed that the Antarctic sea ice has melted so much by this time of year, and they're thinking that the ice sheets are going to be melting more and before it starts freezing back for their spring. So I mean their fall, not their spring. So there's that. Now I'd like to take you through a slideshow. This is from Climate Reanalyzer. This is the 2-meter temperature anomaly with the northern hemisphere view, with the North America view on front. So here we have Greenland, and then here's Norway and Russia and so forth. Here's Canada up here and Alaska up here. So we can see, starting on December the 4th, that was the day I started doing this, see it's red right up here over the Arctic, and then up here in the Beaufort Sea here. So I'm just going to click through, and you can see how that red and brown just moves around. Sometimes it's kind of sticks in one place like here, but you'll see it morphing. Now see how it got bigger there from the 5th to the 6th. Then it really spread out on the 7th up there in the Arctic. Here's the 8th. Notice how it got red, quite red over the northern part of Canada there. It's still red. And this is why the permafrost is melting too. This is, you know, when it's that much warmer, the ground is just won't freeze the way it's supposed to. Now here it is from December the 14th. Notice where the red moved way down further south into Canada, the southern part of Canada, right on the border of the United States here, and it moved down into Russia over here. Here's the 15th. Here's the 16th. Notice it's ramping back up red again. Here's the 17th. Here's December 18th. Look at the 19th, how it came up red right here to the east, right to the east of the North Pole there. And look how red it is over Canada and the northern United States. Now, see, the red is moving over Greenland, and I've seen articles about how Greenland, the ice sheets are melting even in the winter time. So this is why the temperatures are so much warmer than they normally are. Here's the 22nd. Look at the 23rd. Look at how red Greenland is, and up here in the Arctic Ocean too. Now, remember, this is Novaya Zemlya, so the East Siberia ice shelf is right over here, just to give you an idea of your orientation. Here's the 24th. Greenland is still red, and it's still red in the Arctic. Here's the 25th. Greenland is still red. The 26th, Greenland is going brown, so not as hot as it was. Here's the 27th. Look at the bright red, and almost up into the white areas, and white is 30 degrees Celsius warmer. Here's the 28th and the 29th, the 30th, and then the 31st today. So we can see this red has really spread out over all of northern Siberia here, and here's Novaya Zemlya, so right there from Novaya Zemlya over. So there's that I had for you. Now I'd like to show you, I've been saving these sea ice pictures from Climate Reanalyzer too. So let's just start with December 1st. We haven't done a slideshow on this in a while. So this is just another way to look at the sea ice. So here it was on Saturday, December 1st. So I'm just going to click through, and you can see, I missed the second. Sometimes I miss a day. I forget, or I think I've done it. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I had to take a phone call. So here it is from December the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 14th, I missed the 13th, 15th, 16th. Now by the 16th we can see that it's starting to fill in on this Bering Strait here. 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Now, it almost looks like it's retreating some there on the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, and here it is today, the 31st. And so it's come out through that Bering Strait and in the ocean there a little bit, but we can see it's struggling over here on the east side. It's just not gaining a foothold, and we can see why, because of that 2-meter temperature anomaly. It stays up there, and so you know, it doesn't have much of a chance if it's doing that. So that's all I had for you on the slideshows. So I'll go ahead and close that out. And next, I would like to take you over to looking at some methane on cams. I've got methane levels pulled up for the Arctic view for surface level, and our latest data is from Sunday, December 30th. Now remember, this is the new color ledger, and so I'll go ahead and run this movie. Remember, you have to readjust your thinking that if it's yellow-orange, it was red on the old ledger. And so when you see red coming up, it's even higher than it was before. So as that movie is loading up, we can see it coming up right through the center of the Arctic, right through the sea ice, and then it's even red coming up here. And see, here's the East Siberia ice shelf coming up red and yellow and orange over there, and here's Novaya Zemlya. We've got red popping up next to that, and then it's orangey and then into the reds, and then red coming up all along the coastline. So, and you can see it in waves coming off of Siberia, out off the surface. And so think back to that 2-meter temperature anomaly and how it was over all of this area of Siberia, just moving around and just moving around over here in Canada and Greenland and all around, and okay, there's Iceland there. I was just trying to get orientated. And then this is England down here. So just because they changed the color ledger doesn't mean we're out of the woods with methane. So I'm going to pause that, and I have another thing to show you on NASA Worldview for today, December 31st. We can't really see what's going on over at Mount Etna. It's really cloudy, but over here in the northern part of the Mediterranean, there's heavy spraying that you can see going on. Whenever I see it kind of wispy like that, I do a zoom in. And as you zoom in closer and closer, you can see the lines. Heavy, heavy spraying. So that's picked back up. Here it is. See the lines just crisscrossing and going over the land too. So that hasn't stopped. That's just part of the program. So there's that. And we've had a lot of earthquake activity in the last 24 hours. And but I want to get into the comments now. I want to thank everyone who's been leaving their comments, and we had a really good discussion under my video from yesterday. And just to review, we talked about how USGS downgrades and changes the magnitudes of the earthquakes, and also I mentioned that there could be some kind of AI algorithm connected to the emails that could downgrade them, even though the email sent it out at a higher level. Then you go back and open it up again and it's at the lower level in the email. So anyway, the first comment that came in was from David Alcott, my friend over in the UK, and he studies earthquakes heavily, and he says, "Hi Margo, in response to Troy's comment, they are deliberately downgrading earthquakes EQ 7.0, 7.1, 7.2 down to 6.9. So when anyone checks historical data and looks for magnitudes 7 and over, there doesn't appear as many, and things aren't that bad. Dutch Sense brought this to my attention." And I just assumed that everybody knew about Dutch Sense. Apparently everybody doesn't, but I'm not trying to compete with Dutch Sense in any way, shape, or form, and he's like the master at showing the earthquakes and also doing forecasting. I don't do forecasting, but I'm doing my elementary school style of reporting on earthquakes, but he does very in-depth and also does forecasting. So I said, "Thanks for the info, Dave," and he says, "You're welcome." And then Uniden 2211 says, "Downgrade to keep things from getting too much attention. Revised mag rating has been observed in comments on many channels regarding EQs and their mag rating." And I've noticed that too, and I've watched Dutch Sense a lot. I've been following him for years, and he's talked a lot about how not only are they downgraded, but the Richter scale was actually downgraded. So they're actually higher than what they're showing. So I don't remember when that was, but I remember seeing that. And then Uniden 2211 says some channels have stated they do screen captures or whatever that is, so that the data in the links can be checked against what was displayed or what was the first report of any event. Mary Greeny News, I think he means Mary Greeley, and I follow her too, says they changed her stuff. Lots of comments over there have examples where data gets changed afterwards. Yeah, those are screenshots or recording a video like I am here. So, because once they change it, unless you have a recording of it, you don't know what it was from before, just from your memory. And then Troy Turton says, "Thanks for the info as well, David Alcock. I was going to ask if he has a website, but Googled it myself and see they, she does." No, it's he. Dutch Sense is a guy, and that's his screen name. He goes by Dutch Sense. And it seems they are doing what I was hoping to maybe do a few years back, start trying to predict where stress goes after one quake hits, and it may build up more stress in a fault somewhere connected in line, or more than one, since like when the economy crashes, that money doesn't just disappear like some folks imagine. It disappears in someone else's bank account, wallet, or mattress, LOL. Same goes with the stress that gets relieved once a quake goes off. It moves somewhere else, another possible quake zone or even volcano. That's right, Troy. The energy doesn't go away. It just is moved from one place to the next. And there are stress points, and there are weak spots, and it'll go to the weakest area. It will. So thank you for that discussion. I thought that was very good. And while we're on the earthquake discussion, I'm going to read this one from Troy Turton. He says, I'm always suspicious of shallow quakes, think they could be man-made, but since I hadn't read up enough on quakes, when I got distracted for the few years I started watching tornado chasers. Maybe they happen all the time. Oh, that was under my update on the Oroville chemical explosion. Yeah, there are a lot of shallow quakes, Troy. A lot of them are man-made from fracking or from the blasting that you see, or they're just shallow. But we do have deep quakes too. So I thought all of those were good comments. And then to shift the focus to spiritual, Diadem Glow says, thank you for the response, Margo. You are a great encouragement and gift to us. You are thoughtful, insightful, measured, and wise. I not only listen to many messengers, but I also listen to their spirit. You are loving and kind and comforting. God bless. Thank you, Diadem Glow. I really appreciate getting comments like that in. I'm so happy that you feel that way, and thank you for expressing that. It just really warms my heart to have nice comments like that come in, and I say God bless you too. So, we're all here trying to figure things out. And then this one came in from Dave Harris today. He says, thank you, Margo, for your attempts to give the truth. I myself am certain that there is a creator and our time is very short. It was all predicted in Matthew 24 and Luke 21. We must be careful that we don't fall to the deceits of the accuser who has put the Creator on trial. The earthquakes are only the beginning of sorrows. There is going to be a marked increase in armed conflicts, disease, famine, with starvation and the like. With the impending total collapse of the Arctic Sea Ice, the weather is about to exhibit even far greater extremes for 2019. The world economy will also collapse. We are already seeing Europe fall apart and the refugee crisis growing extreme. Ebola is going to become a global health crisis and is really just a matter of time. Thank you again, Margo. You are a person of conviction and doing a most honorable thing in warning us and pointing us back to the Creator. And I say thank you, Dave Harris. I totally agree with you, meaning on what he's saying is going to come to pass. And I say God bless you. I just want to thank all of you who, leave such nice messages. I mean, I have to weed out the nasty ones, and I think I've handled most of the nasty ones on this channel now, and they're not allowed to come here anymore. I want this to be, like I said, a healing corner where we can talk about these things and talk about how we feel, and if we're afraid, it's okay. We can say we're afraid, and you're not going to be condemned here for that. And it's these are the end times. I really do believe we're on the brink, and time is so short, and people don't have any idea how short it is. Shorter than you know. Seriously, it's shorter than you know. And if anyone wants a good Bible chapter to read on to prepare, I recommend Matthew 25. The whole chapter is good. So, on that note, let's get on with our earthquake report. It's been active, although it's only showing 198 quakes in the last 24 hours. So the number of quakes have gone down, but the magnitude of them have increased. And I was watching Dutch Sense's video from this morning, and he was saying the same thing. And that's what I was noticing as well. And so we're going to start out with right over here off the coast of Africa. This came in. I'm going to go to, this is the 1 day 2.5 magnitude and over, starting with these, and then when we get over here to the United States and so forth, we'll go into the smaller ones. But I want to start with this Carlsberg Ridge, because that came in right at the end of my show yesterday. There were 2 large earthquakes that came in right here on this red line off the east coast of Africa. They were right on top of one another within a minute. This one was a 5.2, and it came in at 4:28 p.m. Pacific time, 10 kilometers deep. And then at 4:29, actually less than a minute, because this was at 32 seconds, the other one was at 44 seconds. 5.1 came in, 10 kilometers deep at the same location. So there's that. So I wanted to get to those before they fell off the map. And then we'll go up here. There was a 4.4 in Greece at 10 kilometers deep. There was a 4.0 at Tajikistan at 28 kilometers deep. There was a 4.1 at Saiha, India, 51 kilometers deep. Then going down here to Indonesia, there's a 4.9 at Tobelo, Indonesia, 35 kilometers deep, and a 4.4 at Tobelo, 234 kilometers deep. Now when they go deep like that, the 34 kilometers, that's going to shake the plates, and it's going to cause shaking at different places around the planet. 4.7 at Fiji, 523 kilometers deep. So that's going to see, and you're going to see these all came up all around the same time. And then a 5.1 at Tonga, 170 kilometers deep. And I had a message from Dave on Facebook this morning saying that there were like eight earthquakes that came in over 4 plus magnitude within an hour. Said you're going to be busy. I'm like, yeah, I know. Then there was a 4.2 at Hisaki, Japan, 54.9 kilometers deep. It looks like that was on land. Yep, that was on land. I don't know if that caused any damage. Hopefully it didn't. but you never know. And there was a 5.1 in the ocean to the east of mainland Japan, 39 kilometers east of Namie, Japan, 43 kilometers deep. And you'll notice that Fukushima is right here. So it was off the coast of Fukushima. So there's that. And I thought there was one up here that might have fallen off the map. Let's go down here to South America. There's a 5.3 at Calangasta, Argentina, 101 kilometers deep. That's big enough to cause damage. 4.2 at San Antonio de los Cobras, Argentina, 192 kilometers deep. Then there was a 5.0 today at 12:45 my time. 5.0 on the northern mid-Atlantic ridge, right on the line, 10 kilometers deep. 4.6 at Chontalpa, Mexico, 167 kilometers deep. And I know everyone's seeing this big dot here. This was a 6.1. Well, it's just now been downgraded to a 6.0. Southeast of Cold Bay, Alaska. You see the little wave here. This is for the Tsunami Warning Center. I checked on the report and they did not have a tsunami from that. 31 kilometers deep. And then up here in Alaska, there are some larger ones. Remember, this is 2.5 magnitude and higher. So this is up in the Anchorage area. 3.2, 3.1, 3.7, so we're seeing them higher. 3.0, then 2.7, 2.5, 2.7, 3.5, 3.8, and 2.7, and 3.6. That was all right there. That's all on your map area there. And that was 11 earthquakes higher than the 2.5. And most of them were in the 3s. So that's higher than that's a ramp up in the magnitude. So let's go down here to Dominican Republic. And we're still in the magnitude 2.5 and higher. We have 10 earthquakes down here, so we see that these have ramped up in magnitude as well. 3.4, 3.4, 2.8, 2.8, 2.8, 2.9, 2.5, 3.1, 3.3, 2.5. That's down here in the Dominican Republic. And let's check. We just had a 3.4 in the Dominican Republic at Boca de Yuma, 72 kilometers deep. That just came in. So with all magnitudes there were 19. So the rest of them were under the 2.5, as you can see. So there's 19 all right there. So let's hop over to Hawaii now. There were 4 in Hawaii, or on the island there, on the mainland. 2.0, 3.3 at Fern Acres, Hawaii, 2.4 and 2.4. So those went down in number. And I'm thinking that this is kind of the lull before the storm. I'm expecting a huge uptick in the next few days. I'm just expecting it. Now over here in the United States, okay, nothing on the east side. Starting down here in Utah, 1.3 at Milford and a 2.0 at Orangeville. Then up here in the Yellowstone area, we just had another one come in. We've got 6 on the map, so I'll just click them off. 1.3 at Lincoln, Montana. We just had that one come in. Here was a 1.3 right down here that was from a quarry blast at Butte, Montana at -2 kilometers deep. So that means it was up in a mountain or on the side of a mountain or a hill. So that must have been quite a blast to cause a 1.3. So anyway, 1.2 Lincoln, Montana, 2.4 Old Faithful Geysers right down here, and a 2.7 at the same place, Old Faithful Geysers. Very shallow, 1.5 kilometers deep. The other one was 4.1 kilometers deep. And then another 1.5 up here at Three Forks, Montana. So there's that. Now let's come on over to the Washington area. While we're up here, there was this one, 1.7 at Colwood, Canada, and a 1.5 at Morton, Washington. And now let's come on down to Nevada, down to the active zones here. Starting off, well, here's California right up here, 1.9 at Tule Lake, California. Well, let's just work our way down. Here's a 1.1 at Chester, California. 0.3 at Portola. 0.6 at Truckee, California. Now we're getting into the Reno area. Here was one in the middle of Pyramid Lake, another one in that area, 1.1. It says Spanish Springs, but this is Pyramid Lake. And we've had some earthquakes in the Reno area today. There was a 0.3 at Sun Valley, 0.6 Spanish Springs, 0.1 Spanish Springs, and a 1.7 Spanish Springs, all right up here. Then, moving on down, there was a 0.7, 6 kilometers northwest of Incline Village. We can see that this is, here's Mount Rose, so that's in the forest up there, the mountains up there. And I think that's all right there. Moving on down into Nevada. Oh, I saw one. Thought I saw one at Elko. yeah, right up here, I saw this earlier. There was a .8 at Carlin, Nevada. That's west of Elko. Elko's a pretty good sized town. Then, coming through Nevada, 1.3 at Fallon. Now Fallon is an interesting place. It's they have a Navy base out there in the middle of the desert. So the whole town feels like you're on a base. So anyway, no telling what all kinds of things they do out there. And then down here in the Hawthorne area and the Mono Valley area, I'll just call them off. 0.8 Hawthorne, 0.7 Hawthorne, minus 0.1 Hawthorne, 0.9 Hawthorne, 0.9 Bridgeport, right here by Mono Lake, 1.4 Hawthorne, 0.9 Hawthorne, and 1.6 Hawthorne, right there. Where was this one? That was a 1.4. Okay. So we got those covered. And then coming on down, the rest of Nevada, we had this one just says Nevada 0.9. I can't see where that's showing up on the map. 1.9 Goldfield, that's mining country. 0.2 Beatty, down here. 0.2 Goldfield, 0.3 Beatty, and that's kind of near the Area 51 and the test site and everything. So we've got some down here. Now what's this? 1.7 at Alamo. It looks like there's more than one. We've got a grouping of 3 earthquakes right down here at Alamo. 1.7, a 2, and a 1.2, and they're all at 0 kilometers deep. So this is on the surface. So whatever is happening there, it's right at the surface. So that's kind of suspicious. So got that one. Pahrump, a minus 0.1 at Pahrump, and so on. Let's look right here at this grouping. At Mammoth Lakes, this is active today. Look at this. Let's zoom in. We've got 9 here today. 0.4, 1, minus 0.1, 9, 8, 3, I'm not a 3. These are 0.9, I'm sorry, not a 9, 0.8, 0.3, 0.8, here's a 0, and a 0. So those are microquakes. So those, that could have to do with the harmonic tremors building up to the larger earthquakes. And if you watch Dutch Sense, he'll zoom in and show you all the fracking areas and all that. I'm not doing all that. I'm just showing you the earthquakes. Here was a 1.7 at Little Lake, California, and a 1.0 at Bodfish, right down here. Okay, we got that. There's our Bodfish. Here's a 1.5 at Tehachapi, 7.3 kilometers deep. Make sure and get this one. 2.2 Avenal. 2.0 Grapevine, 1.7 Pine Mountain Club, 1.5 Fraser Park. Notice these are all on this red line. That's the San Andreas Fault. Here we go, coming into Southern California. There are 47 on this map here. Here's 1.0 at Palmdale. So this San Andreas Fault comes right down through here. Here's the Los Angeles area. Here's San Diego. And notice how they line up between Los Angeles and San Diego. And here's this grouping right down here at Kauai. Remember that? So I'll just read these off. Here's 36. I'm not going to read them off. They're small 0.4s and up into the ones. Here's a 2.8 at Beaumont, right up here, Beaumont, California. That was 15 kilometers deep. That was a bigger one. Now we're back down to the 0.4s and up into the ones. The rest of those are small, so I'm not going to go into every single little tiny one. But you can see them. You can see them dotted around. So they're all significant no matter what they're from, whether it's from fracking or what, it's showing movement of the magma. So that's picking up. Now let's come up the coast. Here's a 2.8 at San Simeon. Okay, I got the Avenal. Here's 2 right here. A 1.7 at Pinnacles and a 2.2 at Pinnacles. Coming up. 1.3 Milpitas at 3.8 kilometers deep. And then here's the geysers. There are 5 here today, so that's fewer. 1.6, 0.8, 1.2, 1.5, and 1. So we got this. Oh, there's a 1.1 at Chester. We missed that one. We got that one. Now let's go up to Alaska. Did we get this one at Lincoln, Montana? Another one at Lincoln just came in, a 1.3. So see, they're still coming in while we're doing the report. Okay, here's Alaska. Here was the 6.1 that got downgraded to the 6.0. That was big. I mean, for this area, that's sizable. And then Alaska, we're showing 53 on the map here. And plus 1 up there. That was a 2.1 at Koptovik, 0 kilometers deep. Very shallow. So 53 earthquakes showing here. And I showed you that a lot of these were in the 3s. But, you know, they're all ranges down from point whatever, under the 1s, up to like the 3.8, I think was the highest here at Anchorage. So that's where they had that big one a few weeks ago. So it's clustering. That's still clustering, and we're seeing them come right down in a line here through this Cook Inlet. And there are lots of volcanoes. This Aleutian Island chain, it's all volcanic islands. So there's some active volcanoes up there too. So having earthquakes and volcanoes, just expect stuff to happen. That's all I can say. So let's see what else has come in since we started our report today. We just had a 4.9 come in at Vanuatu, 47 kilometers deep. So let's zoom in on that. Right there, off the coast it looks like. And we just had a 3.4 come in at Boca de Yuma, Dominican Republic, 72 kilometers deep. And then this one up in Lincoln, and then some more up here in Alaska, some more small ones. So we saw this 4.9 in Indonesia. We saw all of that. That was at 309. So remember, this is a holiday for people in the around the world. It's New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So a lot of the people who are working that might be making some of these earthquakes, like with quarry blasts and beaming or whatever else they're doing, might be on vacation or on holiday right now. So we could see fewer earthquakes, but I expect a ramp up. I expect the number to go back up. Right now we're showing 196 in the last 24 hours worldwide. So I expect an increase within the next 24-hour period, simply because the holiday will be over. And I've got one more thing I'm going to share with you today. I thought I would do this like on a weekly basis to show you the last 7 days of earthquakes of magnitude 4.5 and higher around the world. So this is in the last 7 days, and these are 4.5 and higher, so they're significant quakes. And so the red ones are the ones that have just happened, and the orange ones are the ones that are in the last 24 hours, and then the yellow ones are older than that. So you can see we've got 92 on the map here, and there have been a lot. So when you zoom in and start looking at this stuff, we had one right in the middle of Iceland. We had a couple right here off the coast of Greenland on the tip. We've had them all the way down. Here's the North Atlantic Ridge. Remember, we've had those in Venezuela. South America got hit. The Southern Ridge got hit. And so the big ones happened. We had small ones in the US. We didn't have big ones over there for whatever reason. Now let's look over here. Look at all of these that happened right up here off the coast of Kamchatka. We had 8 big ones. We had a 4.7, 4.6, 4.8, 4.6, 4.6, 4.9, 4.6, 4.5. So that's still shaking up there. We had some larger ones up here in the Alaska area. And then look at them as they just came around this ring of fire, coming down through the Kuril Islands. Remember this one at Obihiro, the 5.5, and this one that came in today off the coast of Japan, the 5.1. And so it's going to be ramping up. And remember this big one here that we had, the 7.0 in the Philippines, or off the coast. So this is quite sobering to see it like this. So I do think that time is very short, and again, I recommend everyone get your spiritual house in order. That's the best preparation that you can do. So until next time, I know tonight is New Year's Eve for a lot of people, so I just recommend that you be safe and don't drink and drive, and stay alert and be ready for anything to happen at any time. And I love all of you, and God bless you, and go in peace, and I'll speak to you real soon. Good night.